Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be going over how to take the derivative of functions. The first function we're going to work on is f of x equals 4x to the fifth power minus 5x to the fourth. When we take the derivative, we will write x prime of x equals, we need to multiply the exponent of x by the coefficient in front. 5 times 4 is 20x, and then we subtract the power by 1. So instead of x to the fifth power, now it's x to the fourth power. We will do the same thing with the second term. It's going to be minus. We're going to get the exponent of x, multiply it by the coefficient. 4 times 5 is 20x, and then we're going to subtract 1 from the exponent, which will give us x cubed. The derivative of 4x to the fifth minus 5x to the fourth is going to be 20x to the fourth minus 20x to the third. Our next equation is going to be f of x equals 3x squared times x cubed plus 1 to the seventh power. Here we have a product rule. So when we take the derivative, we're first going to take the derivative of the first term, 6x. Then we're going to write the second term just as it is, plus the derivative of the second term, which will be 7 times x cubed plus 1 to the power of 6 times 3x squared, and then times the first left alone. So times 3x squared. Now we can simplify. We will write 6x times x cubed plus 1 to the power of 7, plus we can multiply 7, 3, and 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times 3 is going to be 63. We have x squared times x squared. That's going to be x to the power of 4 times x cubed plus 1 to the power of 6. Our next equation is going to be f of x equals 2x to the power of 4 plus 3x squared minus 1 over x squared. The first step is we want to separate the fraction. When we have plus or minus operators on the top of our fraction, we're able to separate the fraction by splitting up each term on the top divided by the denominator. So we'll have 2x to the power of 4 divided by x squared plus 3x squared divided by x squared minus 1 over x squared. This is still f of x. We can rewrite this. X to the power of 4 divided by x squared will be 2x squared. 3x squared divided by x squared is going to be just plus 3. 1 over x squared is going to be minus x to the power of negative 2. When we have 1 over x squared, this is the same thing as x to the power of negative 2. Now we can take the derivative. We're going to multiply the exponent by 2. 2 times 2 is 4 times x to the power of 1, but we don't have to write it. this plus 3 goes away. Whenever you take the derivative of a constant, you get 0. And then the derivative of negative x to the power of negative 2 will be plus x to the power of negative 3. Remember, we need to multiply negative 1 by negative 2 and then subtract the exponent by 1. And that will give us, 4x plus 2 times x to the power of negative 3. And this will be our answer for this function. The next function that we will be working with is f of x equals the square root of 2x plus 5 over 7x minus 9. We can rewrite this square root as 2x plus 5 over 7x minus 9 to the power of half. Square root is the same thing as to the half power. Now when we take the derivative, first we have the chain rule. We're going to multiply by half. The inside remains the same. And then we're going to subtract the exponent by 1. And now we're going to multiply by the derivative of the inside of the parentheses. So this is going to be derivative of the top, which will just be 2, times the bottom left alone, minus the derivative of the bottom, which will be 7, times the top left alone, all over the bottom squared. We can simplify a few things. Since the exponent of this quotient is negative, we can flip the quotient and turn it positive. We will have half. We know that an exponent of half is square root. So this will be the square root of the reciprocal of the inside. Times, we can distribute the 2 and the negative 7. And we're going to get 14x minus 18 minus 14x minus 35 over x squared minus 9 squared. If we continue to simplify, we're going to get half times the square root of 7x minus 9 over 2x plus 5 times. Now we're going to combine like terms on the numerator of this fraction. 14x minus 14x will be 0. Negative 18 minus 35 will be negative 53 over 7x minus 9 squared. The last simplification that we can make will be if we separate this square root by top and bottom. We can say half times x to the power of 7 times x minus 9 to the power of half over the square root of 2x plus 5 times negative 53 over 7x minus 9 squared. We can simplify the 7x minus 9 on top with the 7x minus 9 on the bottom. And finally, we would end up with negative 53 over 2 times the square root of 2x plus 5 times 7x minus 9 to the power of 3 over 2. And this will be the most simplified version of the derivative. The last question that we're going to do for today is going to be f of x equals ln of 5x squared plus 9 cubed. When we take the derivative of an ln, we're going to get 1 over whatever comes after the ln. In this case, it's going to be 5x squared plus 9 cubed. Here, we need to use the chain rule. Whenever we have ln, we're also using the chain rule. So it's also going to be times the derivative of the inside of this parentheses. So times the derivative of the inside, which will be 3 times 5x squared plus 9 squared. This is another chain rule. We call this a nested chain rule. There's multiple chain rules in one question. So we're also going to multiply by the inside of the parentheses here, which will be 25x. If we were to simplify this, on top we have 3 times 25, which will be 75x, times 5x squared plus 9 squared, all over 5x squared plus 9 cubed. The last step will be to simplify the 5x squared plus 9. We have 2 on top, 3 on the bottom. Both on top cancel, and 2 out of the 3 cancel in the bottom. And finally, we'll be left with 75x over 5x squared plus 9. If you've made it this far, please make sure that you subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.